Mongo packs his bags. First stop, United Bananas. He exchanges green banana leaves at the airport. He gets a handful of dollars back. Mongo smiles. His smile lasts until the first beer, taxi, hotel. Green leaves evaporate like water on a branch in the sun. Mongo wonders, if a green leaf is a green leaf, why is it worth different in each jungle? Today, Mongo explains why some jungles intentionally make their green leaves weaker. Why do some jungles want their leaves to be worth the same as in others? And how the jungle of United Bananas convinced jungles worldwide to use their leaves to buy dinosaur juice. Chapter 1. From Shining Gold to Mono Jeff's Promises. A long time ago, every green leaf had real gold behind it. Gold kept in Mono Jeff's armored cave. The system was called the Gold Standard. The rule was simple. Mono Jeff couldn't print new green leaves without having more gold in the cave. If he wanted to make more green leaves, he had to get more gold first. It was an honest system. The problem came when jungles grew. Wars passed. Global trade exploded. He exchanges green banana leaves at the airport. He gets a handful of dollars back. Mongo smiles. His smile lasts until the rest of the jungles did the same. Fiat green leaf is born. Fiat green leaf is a piece of paper that is worth something because Mono Jeffe says it is worth something. And because the rest of the monkeys believe it. That's called collective faith. Like Mongo's relationship with Mona Lisa.
It works as long as no one asks too many questions. If the value of a green leaf depends on faith, then it depends on how many monkeys want that green leaf.
It's supply and demand. Same rule as bananas in the market. Same rule as concert tickets. More monkeys want to buy, the more it costs.
Fewer monkeys want to buy, the less it's worth. And here the circus begins. There's a jungle where in the 80s, that jungle's money was worth more than a green leaf from United Bananas. A monkey from that jungle traveled to Miami and felt rich.
But today, in that same jungle, hundreds of thousands of those green leaves are needed to buy a single leaf.
Chapter 2. Inflation and Interest Rates. Mongo has 100 green leaves in his pocket. He goes to Mrs. Banana's shop. He buys 2 bananas. 1 year later, the same 100 green leaves. This time, he can only buy 1.5 bananas. The next year, the same 100 green leaves.
And because the rest of the monkeys believe it. That's called collective faith. Like Mongo's relationship with Mona Lisa.
That's called inflation. The mechanics are simple. If there are more green leaves circulating in the jungle than available bananas, each green leaf is worth less.
Like when Mongo shares pizza among 5 friends. And suddenly, 4 cousins arrive without warning. Same pizza, more mouths, smaller slices. Mono Jeffe has a printer. He prints green leaves whenever he wants. He pays debts, pays for wars. And he pays for campaign promises he didn't intend to keep. Every new bill that comes out of the printer. That's the story of how Mono Jeff of Zimbabwe discovered a printer one Tuesday morning. He liked it so much he never turned it off again.
Result: local prices began to rise every week. Then every day. Then every hour.
The time came when monkeys went to the market, pushing a wheelbarrow full of green leaves to buy a single banana. Literally, monkeys from Zimbabwe began to use green leaves from United Bananas for important things.
Mongo looks at his savings under a branch. If his Mono Jeffe gets excited with the printer, those green leaves become smaller and smaller without Mongo doing absolutely anything.
Meanwhile, Mongo watches the news. But Mongo's problem is that he doesn't understand a damn thing when watching the news. 30-page bricks. Headlines that scream. Monkeys on television talking as if Mongo already knew.
In the end, Mongo finds out late, superficially, or doesn't understand a thing. That's why Mongo reads Ecomonius, Ecomono's own newsletter. 3 times a week, only topics that truly matter that week. In 5 minutes, with bananas. No bricks, no technicalities, no hidden agenda. Today, Ecomonius told Mongo what the central bank Mono Jeffe did yesterday. Tomorrow, it will say what happens with the neighboring jungle's debt.
And all the important stuff, without having to swallow the entire news report.
Also a surprise for stingy monkeys. The newsletter is free. More than 10,000 monkeys already read it. Link in description and pinned comment or by scanning the QR to subscribe.
But now, Mono Jeffe doesn't sit idly by. Mono Jeff has a weapon against inflation. The weapon is called the interest rate. If Mono Jefe raises the rate, borrowing green leaves becomes expensive. Monkeys stop borrowing. They spend less. Fewer green leaves circulating. Inflation goes down. But the interest rate has a juicier side effect. If Mono Jeff pays a high rate to those who lend to him, investor monkeys from all over the planet smell bananas and flock like flies to ripe fruit. Here's the trick. To lend to Mono Jeff of United Bananas, an investor monkey from another jungle first has to exchange their currency for dollars. More monkeys buying dollars means a more expensive dollar. The dollar strengthens on its own. If the rate drops, investors get bored. The dollar deflates. By the way, if the viewer monkey has an idea how to name the dollar in Ecomonos, put it in the comments.
But the rate cannot rise indefinitely. If the rate is too high, normal monkeys like Mongo cannot borrow to buy a branch. Businesses cannot borrow to grow. The economy freezes like a banana forgotten in the freezer. That's why every time the central bank Mono Jeffy steps onto the stage, entire markets on the planet hold their breath.
But a high rate is not enough. An investor monkey, before releasing a bag of green leaves in a jungle, looks at something else.
If Mono Jeff of that jungle changes taxes every Tuesday, monkeys take to the streets with torches every 2 months.
Debt skyrockets every quarter. An investor grabs his bag and flies to another branch before anything happens. Foreign investors don't hold with guts.
He smells risk and disappears. But there's a jungle that years ago discovered a trick much better than raising rates or promising stability. The jungle managed to get the rest of the planet to buy its green leaf non-stop for decades without anyone realizing.
And any monkey who today fills their log car's tank is, unknowingly, borrowing it. Chapter 3. Exporting and Importing.
If a jungle sells things to other jungles, the buyer monkey must pay in the seller monkey's green leaf.
If the People's Banana Republic sells log cars to half the planet needs yuan to pay for them. Demand for yuan rises. Yuan strengthens.
If a jungle buys more than it sells, the opposite happens. Local monkeys are exchanging their own green leaves for foreign ones every day.
Their own green leaf weakens. That's why almost no jungle wants to import more than it exports.
But some have no choice, Banana Land included. Then there's the dinosaur juice trick.
The rest of the planet pays for dinosaur juice solely with dollars.
Since then, any jungle that wants to fuel log cars has to get dollars first. It's infinite global demand without lifting a finger. But there's an opposite case to what Mongo has explained so far. These are jungles that tie their green leaves together. And if a big jungle...
Chapter 4. Tied Green Leaves. Banana Land doesn't have its own currency. If Mongo opens his wallet, he has green leaves that are also valid in many jungles of the European Union.
All share the same paper, same design, and the same Mono Jefe deciding for all. The advantage is that Mongo crosses the border and pays for coffee without changing anything.
Banana Land companies sell to neighbors without problems. Tourism moves better.
Disadvantage too. If one of those jungles sinks, the rest have to pay a rescue, like when monkeys from Banana Land and other jungles in Europe had to help Greek monkeys when the jungle went bankrupt. If they didn't, the euro would lose credibility and power against other currencies. So, Mongo wonders, if all this is a mess, why don't monkeys use a global green leaf?
Answer: because jungles don't have the same problems at the same time.
Jungle A has wild inflation. It needs to raise rates now. Jungle B has very high unemployment. It needs to lower them now.
If they share a currency, the common Mono Jefe has to choose who to save. There's always a jungle that ends up broken, and a secret that political...
Because it's what allows them to hide mistakes behind a little bit of inflation. A single global currency is a dream only held by monkeys who have never shared a flat. Mongo returns to Banana Land. He takes out his backpack.
He throws his wallet on the table. Now he understands why his currencies are worth different depending on the jungle he goes to. But Mongo is left with a nagging thought.
If Mono Jefe controls the printer, rates, and inflation, then Mono Jeff also controls how much value Mongo loses each year without doing anything. Mongo works more. Mongo saves more. Mongo keeps more coins under a branch.
And still, every year that passes, those coins buy fewer bananas. It's not bad luck. It's not Mongo's laziness. Meanwhile, Don Banano doesn't work a day more than Mongo. But he gets richer every year without effort, without sweat, without touching the wheel. How? Because Don Banano doesn't save coins. Don Banano plays another game. A game with different rules. Rules that Mongo never learned in school.
Go watch the video where Mongo explains why the system is designed to keep monkeys poor. And what exactly does Don Banano do to be on the right side of the wheel?